Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking every single mod in the new Super Perfection Medal. Well, I mean, it's not really new anymore, it's been here for like 2 weeks. It's still pretty new. I'm going to be ranking every single mod, so I'm going to be ranking the thrusters, long arms, dash yo-yo, and platforms. And I have every single one maxed out, so none of them will... I have every single one maxed out, so it is a fair competition. Another disclaimer, I will also be using alternate versions. For thrusters, there's like the normal thruster, which is the canister, and then there's a propeller thruster, which is like an alternate version. Nope, I don't want to click that. Long arms has a lot of alternate versions, so I'm gonna have to rank every single one individually. Dash yo-yo doesn't have any, it just has its default. And platforms only has one other alternate, but the alternate doesn't really change that much. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first mod we have are the thrusters. These are the canister rocket versions. So I'm gonna show you what they do, and then I'm gonna rank opinion. So thrusters are very simple actually. If you just hold the triggers, you start flying like this. And with the maxed out, you fly really fast. This meter drains and tells you how much charge you have. If it's all the way down, you can't do it. If it's all the way charged, that means you can do it. And disclaimer, you can do it even if there's a little bit charged. You can't do it while it's run out though. Now with the max upgrade, you do get something called throttle control. Pay attention to these wings. If you move your triggers up and down, you can adjust them. So if they're up like this, the faster they go, but at a cost. They drain really fast and they take a while to recharge. But if they're on low throttle control, they act like this. They're pretty slow, but they build up speed over time, and they don't use a much charge. So I definitely prefer to use this. However, if you're in a high-speed chase and you're trying to get away from lava monkeys as much as possible, the full throttle is definitely the best way to do it because it can get you out of there in an instant. However, with the low throttle control, if you're in a chase, it could be good. However, it does take time to build up, so you are gonna have to wait a second in order to use it. So the canister rocket thrusters, I give an S tier. They are an S tier gadget. They are awesome. They're good for basically everything. They're good for tagging. They're good for living. They're good for escape. They're good for like gaining distance. They're good for running. They're good for walls. They're good for branching. They're good for everything. That's why they're an S tier. They're literally the perfect gadget. Next up on the list are the propeller thrusters. Now the difference between a canister rocket thruster and a propeller thruster, these ones go slower but they last longer. Here's an example. They're pretty good overall. I mean, I definitely prefer these over the canister. By the way, these also have throttle control. But look, if you put it all the way down, it's pretty slow, but look how long it lasts. It lasts an insanely long time, which is great. However, it is pretty slow. But it doesn't really matter how slow it is if you're going to be in the air. And they do recharge faster than a canister rocket, which is a very good passive. For escaping, it's not the greatest. I mean, you do the same thing, put it in full throttle and you're good. But it doesn't get the job done as much as a canister rocket. However, if you're just trying to fly around the map and stall for time, these are definitely better for stalling the map. Because since they last longer, meaning you can last in the air for a very long time. And if you don't know, tagging people in air is not the easiest thing to do. So staying in the air is very good, especially with propellers that do that. So my ranking on the propeller thrusters, I put them in the S tier as well. They are amazing. I love these. I would argue that they're just as good as the canister rocket. It really just comes down to preference. Which one do you prefer? But I definitely prefer these ones. Alright, we covered all of the thrusters. Now let's move on to the dash yo-yo. The dash yo-yos, in my opinion, are the most fun gadget to use. because if you hold your trigger, they turn green, throw it and let go, and then pull back like you're starting a lawnmower, and it launches you. And you can throw it up in the air, and you can like do this. It's pretty good, I would say. It's a very good mod. It's a very good gadget. Good upgrades. A phenomenal way of escaping, like if you're like being chased. So they're just good. And also with the final upgrade, you get a tag upgrade. And since they're lava, people get tagged if you just throw this at them. If they walk into that chain, then yeah, they'll probably get tagged. I don't really understand how it works too well, but they are really fun to use. I love the yo-yos, but I wouldn't say they're as good as the thrusters. So for that, I'm gonna give them an A tier. They're not the best, but they are really good and really fun to use. Alright, now that we covered dash yo-yo, we can move on to platforms. First, I'm gonna start with the air jump platforms. Now what they do, you have 5 charges if they're max upgraded. And you can use those charges to place a platform. That's simple. However, once you place one, they do take a bit to recharge. They take like 7 seconds. But if you use them like this, they are very good. They're pretty good for escaping too, which is great. Another trick you can do is block off your enemies. Say you're being chased, like, oh no, I'm being chased, I'm about to get tagged. Boom, just place the wall, can't do anything. Or you could build a box to protect yourself like this. Like that, and now you're protected. And then once an opening spawns in, just run right out. The air jump platforms, they don't really do much. I mean, they're good, but like, they're not crazy. I'll give them a C tier. They're not like insanely good, but they are good though. I just noticed that my name was like Gorilla something, but I changed it. We're all good. Now we're gonna move on to the bouncy platforms that have absolutely no difference. Actually, I'm over exaggerating, but look, they look different. They look like pink jelly. Now you may be asking, what's the difference? They just look different. This is the speed boost. You get a pretty mid speed boost. It's not crazy. Well, I mean, the speed boost is great. It's good, but they definitely could have done more with the platforms. They're not bad, per se. They're definitely better than the air jump because the slight speed boosts are definitely better. However, it's not good enough for it to be, like, a crazy mod. Like, you can be good with it, but compared to mods like thrusters, dash yo-yo, long arms, these just don't they don't really counter them per se. They could counter thrusters by blocking them off, but sometimes like you don't spawn in time and they just fly right through. So overall, I give the bouncy platforms a B tier. They're only 1 tier above air jump platforms because they're only slightly better. Oh my god, this is gonna take the longest time. The long arms. There's a reason why I saved these for last. I'm going to try and go through these as fast as possible because there's a lot and most of them are basically the same. Let's start with the first upgrade you get, stilts. Stilts are pretty good, especially if you get inferno tips. You see how my hands are lava? That means when I reach over, I can tag someone. So basically you get a longer, more ranged hitbox. It's definitely really good. Makes you run faster, especially if you run like this. They are pretty annoying to use. I would definitely say there's a lot of cons with these. Like, you can get stuck, like, if you get your arms stuck like this, it is very hard to get out of. Especially in, like, branches and stuff, like the city, the gazebo. They're pretty annoying to use, but they're fun at the same time. They're good for tagging and ground. That's pretty much they're all good for. Except if you are good at like branches and walls and stuff, which that's great. Now, I put the stilts at a B tier. They're not crazy or anything, but they are pretty good. They're really good for tagging and ground. Moving on to the next upgrade, short stilts. There is not much to say here. Just stilts that are you know, shorter than the average stilt. Here's the measure difference. Not crazy. I would argue that they are, I definitely prefer these a little bit more because they are easier to control, better for branching and walls and stuff. But when you're tagging, since the hitbox is shorter, it's not as crazy as the other ones. There's not much to say here, honestly. Just for that, I also give these a B tier. I would say they're equally as good as the stilts. They're definitely not worth the price of like 12 tech points. That's absurd. The next upgrade is long stilts. There's not much to say here either. It's stilts, but longer. It's definitely faster at running because the longer they are, the faster they go. But at a cost. The longer they are, the harder they are to control. That's what's so good about the short stilts. However, the short stilts aren't as fast, but the long stilts are harder to control. They're good for double walls because you can just spam up like that. They're good for tagging because you get an even longer in range hitbox. There's not much to say here either. For that, I also put these at the B tier. They're all B tier. They're all equally as good. One of them is not really better than the other. They're all good. I mean, it really just comes down to preference, just like the thrusters. Okay, this is Junior from the future, but I actually forgot to rank extendo arms, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Extendo arms. These are some long anus arms. Oh my lord, these are amazing. Now you can hold them down so you're normal. However, I don't like the hitbox of it being a fist because it messes with their like hitbox, like it feels weird. But if you extend it, you can run really freaking fast. And since it's the longest arm in the game, you got the longest hitbox. You go like, boom! Look how fast you can go up double wall too. Just spam, dude. It's so crazy. And another thing with the upgrades is that if you move your joysticks up and down, you can adjust the height. If you want a short stilt, you want a medium size, or you want a long stilt. See, I rank the extendo arms an S. These are amazing. These are just absolute peak. These are amazing. They're so good. Like, literally for tagging, for running. I mean, you could be good on walls. They're crazy on walls. They're not crazy on branching, but like, if someone falls, bro, you just go, BAM! And it's good for running too, because how like fast you can go. And it's just so good. The next upgrade is motorized. Motorized is pretty interesting because you need short stilts in order to unlock them because they are short stilts. However, if you hold your triggers, you basically turn into a car. Now, they are fun to use. However, they're not great when it comes to like trying people. They're not that fast. You could definitely manually run faster. Manual running is definitely way faster than these. But, I mean, they're alright. I mean, they're not crazy or anything. They're fun to use, though. As fun as these things are to use, they are not as good as the stilts, I would argue. So, I give them a C tier. They're not crazy. They're crazy expensive. And, yeah, you get it. Let's just move on. The next version of long arm is triple motorized. Just as the name says, you get triple hands on the wheel. And of course, it makes you faster. It's better than the last. They're pretty fun to use going up double walls. Like, look, just hold your hands out and boom. And these get you up where you need to go. The sound is also satisfying when it just spam hits. Like, I give the triple motorized a B tier. They're not crazy. Like I said, they're slightly better than the motorized. And why is the camera so high up? They're not crazy. They're just slightly better than this. There's not much. I mean, it makes you faster and all, but it's not like crazy. For the last upgrade, we have turkey legs. Of course, I'm gonna love these, bro. I love the turkey leg stuff. I love turkey. Yum. But it's just like short stilts. However, they do look really cool, especially on lava when they're fired. The normal ones look like this, by the way. I can't really show it because super infection requires you to do that. But as cool as these are, they don't do anything. It's just a cosmetic of the short stilts. I wish it was more than that, but it sadly isn't. However, they have an absolutely monstrous price of tech points. They cost 35 tech points. I mean, they're definitely really cool looking. I mean, they look awesome. I love it. But not worth 35 just for like a visual cosmetic that doesn't provide any changes. However, since they are turkey legs, I'm giving this an S tier. I don't care if I'm biased. You guys can complain if I'm biased or not. But I'm being biased. I love turkey leg, and I have every right to be. And that is going to conclude the video. That is my ranking of every single gadget / mod in the new super infection mode. Let me know what you guys would rank these in the comments, because I would love to see what you guys rank. And if you disagree with any of my opinions, you're wrong. Just wrong. I don't care. You're wrong. Bro. Well, anyway, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.